Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to rebuild this Altec 604 8G with a little bit of help from Simply Speakers. Simply Speakers was generous enough to send me a full rebuild kit for this speaker. I'm pretty excited to get this taken apart and get it rebuilt and hear how it sounds with all new parts inside. First, let's take a look at why we are rebuilding this speaker. So first things first, with this diaphragm for the horn here, you can see we get absolutely nothing. Now if we go up here, we see that we get something. However, I need to show you what's going on with the woofer. Take a listen. That's very bad. That means that the voice coil likely got a little bit too hot. It was overdriven. Luckily, this kit has everything we need. First, we've got our adhesive kit. We have gasket, we have our actual voice coil, and then of course, we have the paper, the woofer guy right here. And then we've even got a new felt dust cap right here that goes around that fancy horn that they've got in the middle of these things. And then the last part of the kit is this diaphragm right here. So I think I want to do this first thing. Let's just get this diaphragm replaced right away, and because I think it'll be pretty simple. So I got those 3 screws out. Let's see what happens. Okay, we've got 2 screws right here on the inside. Okay, now we have this little cap that comes off. And I can already see why the diaphragm's not working. One of those little leads right there broke. That right there is our failure mode. So I've got just a little post-it sticky note here, and I'm just going to kind of run this through, see if we get anything. And look at that. We actually got a little bit of something there. So let's now carefully bring in our new coil and try to align it with these pins here. So now that I've done that, I'm going to replace this little cap here. That's what we're looking for. So it looks like right inside of here we have 2 screws that presumably hold this in place. Let's just kind of pull up right here and remove the dust cap. I think we can start up here by removing the gasket. That was exhausting. I took this thing, put it on high for like a minute. Smelled kind of funny, obviously, but then I just kind of pulled gently and it kind of came and popped right out like this. Now what we want to do is kind of cut in the middle right here. I think I'll cut where the dust cover was. Yeah, this right here, gone. Don't need it. I'll work on removing some of this stuff up here. Well, that was fun. For these wires here, we'll just kind of heat up the joint, not burn ourselves, and remove the wires. And here we are. Grab our knife again. And this time we're going to cut on what you call the spider. That's this black piece down here. And at this point, this should just come right out. And there it is. Not nearly as bad as I thought, but you know, you heard this thing. It's not in okay shape. The next thing we're going to do is take some tape, and we're just going to tape this whole area off so that we don't get any more junk falling in where the windings go inside of this magnet, and nothing going into where the horn diaphragm puts the sound through. So now that this is nice and sealed off, we can start just cleaning off this surface right here, and especially this main surface up here. So I've got this thing cleaned up pretty good here. What I want to take the time to do real quick now is show you inside this crossover. Look right there at that one. That little dot there, that's like electrolyte or whatever starting to spew out of that capacitor. And if we flip over, we see the same thing on another one. We're going to buy new ones because I'm not about to run something that looks like that. It's time for these to get replaced. think it's going to work just fine. Now we're at the point where we can start cleaning out this magnet gap. Now what we're ready to do is install the new voice coil. So this right here is your shim. This kit includes this shim, and what it's going to do is it's going to help us center the voice coil inside of here. And then we want to take our new voice coil right here. We'll take these little leads right here, we'll bend them out of the way. We're going to start by putting the shim on the inside of the coil, and we'll go ahead and kind of slide this in here carefully. And it looks like we're going to be okay here. You definitely want to make sure you do a good job at this part, because if this is kind of sideways, it's going to be going in there, sideways, and we'll just have the same issue we had before. Now we're going to do the first install part, which is installing the spider. Now we're going to use our first thing out of the adhesive kit. We're going to apply that along this right here. Now I'm going to drop the spider in with this first rib kind of going up. Then you want to kind of go along it with something flat like this. Then we gotta let this part cure for about an hour. So at this point we're getting geared up to use our epoxy right here. We're going to use this in the middle to get the spider attached to the coil and the cone attached to the coil as well. Before we do that, we need to take the new cone and we need to poke some holes in it. I think I'll go from the back here and maybe not stab myself. And there's that. So these are going to be our holes for our leads right here. What we're going to want to do here, apply a bead very carefully at this joint right here. Here I go. Sadie, not now. Really, really not now. Please, cat. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this stuff from before and we're going to run it along here. It's time to take the cone and we're going to line up these holes with the little shims right here. Then we're going to bring this guy in a little bit. Since we're dealing with epoxy that hardens, we need to make sure we get our last little bit taken care of here. So we're going to do one pass in the middle. Time to pull the shim out. So I was a little concerned because it was really tight in there, so I'm going to carefully kind of take that out. If I do this, it's dead quiet. But if I go from down below and I push up, I can hear a little bit of rubbing. So is that fatal? Maybe. But at this point I'm willing to send it and see what happens. Now it's time to attach some wires to these little leads here. This is the wire that Simply Speakers includes with their kit, so this is going to be enough for both leads. What we'll do here is go ahead and cut this in half. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to snip these leads right here so they're about 1/4 of an inch out. Now let's run these wires through the holes we poked. Next thing we want to do is tin these little tabs here. And then the next thing we're going to want to do, take the wire, kind of smash it into that little tab here, and then hold this down with our finger while it dries real quick. Is that right? Sure. We're just going to dress these wires in this stuff here. Okay, this black stuff is curing nicely, so I think the next thing to do is reinstall this guy right here. Now we can look at setting this dust cap in place. What I'll do to start is I'll do a very, very light bead along here. Drop this in. Next thing we're going to want to do is glue this guy back in place. Okay, I'd call that a success. It's looking pretty good here. The next thing we can do is add this to the surround here. So I think at this point, what I'd like to do is get the gasket in place, and we're going to do that with this adhesive. And this is in 8 pieces. I think I'll pre-position each one of these. So now I'm going to go ahead and solder the wires, and at this point I'm a little scared because let me show you something. That's a really bad noise in there. I think I screwed up. So I've got the amp hooked directly up to the driver here. We're not hooked up to the horn part. And I've got the tone generator. Got it set to 100. I'm scared, but let's see. Yeah, so as you can hear, there's a lot of vibraty stuff in there. I did not do it right. Shouldn't be making any of that noise. So if I push here down and push under here, I can get it to go away. So basically what that means is I centered my coil wrong, and everything probably needs to be completely redone, unfortunately. I think the next best thing I can try to do is try to take off these gaskets, heat up this cone here, and see if I can shift it in a way where it's going to agree better with what's going on in here, because I can't take this apart. That epoxy is hardened. That ship has sailed. If you take any of this stuff apart in here, you're rebuilding the entire speaker again. Okay, so I've got this all lifted off here. Now I'm just going to see if I can even manipulate this to make it so, like, when the sound is playing, I can get it to not make that awful sound. So I think I've got it to work better. I'm not going to say I fixed it. So I think that clicking noise you're hearing is basically because the gasket's not in. So oddly enough, to my surprise, back in the cabinet with the crossover connected, it's not that bad. If you recall, we had that coil scraping sound before, and that was really bad. So, I guess we can play everybody's favorite song. Do this, I guess. I'll skip ahead to the bassy part that caused issues last time. So you may recall that part sounded terrible before, and now it doesn't. Let's take you in. So I'm hoping you got to pick up on how those sound through the camera's onboard mic. I think that one does a pretty good job of picking up the environment. So I'll clarify real quick, this is the 604-8G that was rebuilt in this video, and that is the 604E that did not need a rebuild. And I can't really tell much of a difference between the two of them. They sound very similar. They're very forward speakers, very, very clear, heavy bass, strong, everything. At high volumes, the mids can get a little bit harsh. That's one thing I don't really like about them, but I think that's an amplifier problem. As you can see, I'm using my Carver M200T with the Marantz 2250 as a preamp. I think vacuum tubes would treat these pretty well, so that's something I might try in the future. I also think raising them up a little bit could help with the sound. They're kind of low to the ground in these cabinets. If they were on, maybe a foot taller, like a riser or something, I think that would help quite a bit as well. Overall, quite happy with the result. I haven't heard speakers quite like this since I sold my clipsless Scalas. I haven't had, something this big and horn-loaded ever since then. So I'm going to enjoy them for now, but I need to get the Magnapan MG2s back in here because they just look better in the room. These don't look nearly as good. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey. And by the way, there is a longer version of this video linked in the description below. If you'd like a more detailed look into what I went through to get this rebuilt, watch that video, especially if you're considering rebuilding one yourself. That's all for now. I will see you in the next one.